Naomi Osaka plays near perfect in US Open match against Coco Gauff TC live. Flushing Meadows was alive in that way it only is during the second week of the US Open. The smell of roasted peanuts and hot pretzels lingered in the warm September air. A symphony of conversations in multiple languages swirled among the crowd as fans filed into Arthur Ashe Stadium. Under the glowing lights, New York was loud, unapologetic, and brimming with expectation. It wasn't just another night session. This was a clash of two generations. Naomi Osaka, the comeback queen, returning to Grand Slam competition after time away, carrying the weight of her legacy and her story. And Coco Gauff, the 21-year-old American phenom, poised, fearless, and now one of the sport's biggest stars. This was the match every headline had been building toward. Osaka versus Gauff wasn't just tennis, it was a cultural moment. Two black women redefining the sport, admired for their athletic brilliance and the way they carried their voices beyond the baseline. But as the warm-up balls thudded softly against the court, a quiet intensity overtook the stadium. For all the hype and noise, it would come down to something far simpler. Who could be better when it mattered most? Chapter 2. A calm storm. From the first rally, something felt different about Naomi Osaka. Her shoulders were loose, her face calm, and her eyes carried a sharpness that longtime fans hadn't seen since her 2021 Australian Open triumph. Commentators on Tennis Channel Live had been skeptical in the lead-up. It's one thing to talk about form, host Steve Weissman had said the night before, but it's another to summon greatness under the lights against Coco Gauff, who's been almost unbeatable this summer. But as Osaka struck her opening serve, a rocket down the tee that painted the line, tennis legend Lindsay Davenport leaned forward in the TC Live studio. "That's the Naomi we remember," she said. "If she keeps serving like this, Gauff's going to have to fight for every point." On court, Osaka's demeanor was all business. There was no fist pump after the ace, no smile, no glance at her box. She simply walked back to the baseline, tossing the ball in her hand, already thinking ahead. Chapter 3. Gauff's Challenge. Coco Gauff had built a reputation on her athleticism and her heart. At just 21, she'd already captured a Grand Slam title and was one of the game's most electrifying defenders. She thrived on long rallies, running down shots others couldn't dream of retrieving, and turning defense into offense. But Osaka's ball striking was clinical tonight. Gauff's opening return game ended in a blur of winners. Osaka painted corners with ruthless precision, her racket cracking like a whip as she delivered one flat forehand winner after another. Gauff's movement, usually her greatest weapon, seemed neutralized. The speed of Osaka's shots gave her no time to set up. She was reacting rather than dictating. "Coco's having to play catch-up here," Davenport noted. "Naomi's striking first, and if she keeps taking the ball this early, Coco won't get a chance to use her athleticism." By the end of the first set, Osaka led 6-2, having committed just 3 unforced errors. Fans in Ashe Stadium were stunned, not because they didn't believe in Osaka's talent, but because they hadn't seen her look this invincible in years. Chapter 4. The Anatomy of Perfection. When tennis experts describe a near-perfect match, they mean more than just winners and aces. They're talking about control, of the ball, of the rhythm, of the mental space where elite athletes thrive. Osaka's numbers were staggering. Her first serve percentage hovered near 80%, and she won 90% of points behind her first serve. She wasn't just serving bombs, she was serving smart, placing balls with surgical precision, varying spins, keeping Gauff guessing. Even her second serve, once a vulnerability, was rock solid. She hit it deep, neutralizing Gauff's aggressive returns. And when rallies extended past 5 shots, Osaka still won most of them. "This is what Naomi looks like when she's in her zone," said Chanda Rubin on TC Live's halftime analysis. "She's not overplaying, she's not under pressure. She's making Coco uncomfortable, and that's hard to do." Chapter 5. Coco's Fight. The second set wasn't without drama. Gauff, backed by a roaring American crowd, raised her level. She attacked Osaka's forehand, trying to draw errors, and began rushing the net in an effort to disrupt Osaka's rhythm. For a moment, it worked. At 3-3, Gauff earned her first break point. Ashe erupted, sensing a momentum shift. Gauff crouched low, pumping her fist. This was her chance to pull Osaka back to reality. But Osaka had other plans. She saved the break point with a fearless second serve that clipped the line, followed by a forehand winner that sent Gauff scrambling. On the next point, Osaka delivered an ace down the middle, quieting the crowd. "That's championship mentality," Rubin said. "You're under pressure and you don't play it safe, you play your best tennis." From there, Osaka closed the door, reeling off 3 straight games to seal a 6-2, 6-3 victory. Chapter 6. The Aftermath. As Osaka shook hands with Gauff at the net, her expression was calm, almost understated. She just played one of her best matches in years, but there was no wild celebration. In her on-court interview, Osaka smiled softly. "I know Coco's been playing amazing tennis, so I had to bring my best," she said. "Tonight I felt like I was really locked in. I'm proud of myself for that." Gauff, ever gracious, praised Osaka's performance. "She was just too good tonight," she said. "It's tough to play someone hitting the ball that clean. I'll learn from this." Chapter 7. TC Lives Praise. Back in the Tennis Channel studio, the praise was unanimous. "That was vintage Naomi Osaka," Weissman declared. "If she can sustain this level, she's a title contender again." Davenport agreed. "Her serve was incredible, but it's more than that, her mindset is back. She looked confident, fearless, and in control. That's what made her a 4-time Slam champion." Chanda Rubin added, "What impressed me most was her composure. Even when Coco made a push, Naomi didn't blink. That's the sign of a great champion." Chapter 8. The Return of a Star. For Osaka, this victory wasn't just about advancing to the next round. It was about reclaiming her identity as one of the sport's elite. She'd stepped away from tennis to prioritize her mental health, later welcoming her daughter in 2023. Her return to competition in 2024 had been filled with ups and downs as she searched for rhythm and confidence. This match felt like a breakthrough. "I'm a mom now," she said in her press conference. "I'm older and I see things differently. I'm not playing just for myself anymore. That gives me a lot of motivation." Chapter 9. Gauff's Perspective. For Coco Gauff, this loss stung, but it was also a reminder of the level she aspired to reach. "She'll bounce back," Davenport said. "She's so young, and she's already accomplished so much. Nights like this are part of the learning process." Indeed, Gauff's rise had been meteoric, winning her first Grand Slam, leading the American charge, and becoming a role model for a generation of young athletes. Her rivalry with Osaka was still in its early chapters, and tennis fans could expect many more battles between the two. Chapter 10. A Rivalry for the Ages. Osaka versus Gauff wasn't just a tennis match. It was a reflection of how far the sport had come.